Hi, my name is Travis Cox, and my presentation is about the history of crack and cocaine. Here are some backgrounds on what is cocaine and how is it produced. So, cocaine is a strong addictive drug that people sometimes use for to relieve stress, and if they have pain problems, or sometimes they use it to enjoy it. There are two forms of how cocaine was produced. So you have a powder form, that's the original cocaine, and you have a crack cocaine where you mix water and baking soda, and you boil those two, and it comes out a crispy, solid rock, which is crack. Moving along to cocaine epidemic. The epidemic started around the 1970s all the way to the mid 1980s. At this time, President Nixon started a war on drug policy where he want to reduce drug crimes. He want to stop the drug the drug offenders from selling their product and stop people from buying drugs, because at the time people were really getting addicted. There was people was dying from overdose and everything in that sort. It's stated here by the late 1970s, a large glut of cocaine powder was being imported to the United States. This slide, I will be talking about an article I found on a man who killed his best friend while filled with cocaine. It all started one evening. Artist and his friend McCullough drove to the gas station. McCullough went inside to buy cigarettes, and Artist recalled that his best friend returned to the car earlier than he planned it. So I'm assuming here at this point, Artist felt like he was about to get robbed or his friend was going to betray him in some way. So he got paranoid and shot his friend. So his friend ended up dying, and when Artist went to court, the judge believed that he purposely killed his friend, like, because he knew what he was doing. And the judge also said that he should never have put himself in a position that ended in a death using cocaine around a really available pistol. So the judge sentenced Artist 6 years of probation, also 6 years in prison. I feel like at this point I agree with the judge. It's like you knew what you was doing, and I guess he was trying to find an excuse that using since he was filled with cocaine, he using that excuse that he didn't know what was going on. So, or he used that reason that he got paranoid, and that's why he shot his friend. Next slide, I will be talking about cocaine effects, short term and long term. And the short term side effects is the contact hypersensitivity, hearing, sight, um, mental alertness, and more. Whereas the long term side effects is like runny nose, nose bleeding, odor deficiency. It could lead to overdose and death, and a lot of crazy and sad things. Now I'll be talking about the amount of people being sentenced. As I mentioned earlier, the war on drugs policy arrested like thousands of people, where prisons have to raise funds to create more prison cells for inmates. So here it states the number of people behind bars for nonviolent drug laws offenses increased from 50,000 in 1980 to over 400,000 by 1997. And as I mentioned earlier, the war on drugs policy was to prevent drug distribution from selling their product and prevent people from buying them. Now I'll be talking about the New York State law of cocaine. I know if you have a possession no more than 500 grams or less than 500 grams, you will be sentenced the minimum of 5 years. Maximum, it could go up to 20 to 40 years, and the fines will either be 1 million, 2 million, it could be up to 4 or 5 million with probation. That's only for New York State. I know for other states they have their own law and how they regulate. Now I will talk about the statistics on who uses crack and cocaine. Um, in the United States, there are 35.3 million Americans aged 12 and older reported having used cocaine. Um, this shows that we need to do a better job from keeping addictive drugs, serious drugs, away from especially middle school students, high school students, because we tend to ruin their future and also putting their life at risk. Finally, my conclusion. Um, in the end, we need to find the fundings to establish recovery facilities to help individuals with cocaine and crack addiction, which they will have to graduate from after they eliminate their drug addiction. So basically, what I mean about that is we just need to find ways to make sure we get the people that have addictive an addiction of drugs. Make sure we get them the help they need in order for them to improve and live their civilized, normal life. Thank you, and this is my. This slide I will be talking about the rehabilitation programs, Smart Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Narcotics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous are group supporting support meetings, not therapy, that take place in a community-like approach to support recovery from alcohol and drugs. The purpose of these programs, that's why we combine the two, is to hold members accountable while they progressing throughout the program. It's a 12-step program, whereas they one of the rules and regulation that whatever discussed in the meter is not to discuss outside in public, and sometimes it's segregated to just women only. Whereas the smart recovery program is free of charge, and it's for individual, friends, family, anybody could come, and it's a 4-point program, as it is build imitate motivation, coop urges, manage your thoughts, feelings, and behavior in life, a balance. So it work on every aspect you can think of. I also find out about these rehabilitation programs just because I'm taking a mental health criminal justice class right now, and I just learned that from one of the textbooks and from my professor. Page, and that's my presentation. Thank you.